welcome back to another edition of Comic Star Talk. Today we're doing a Mickey 17 spoiler review. I am co-host Kevco. Introduce yourself, boys.
Go ahead, Zan.
Okay, I'll go first, I guess. I'm Zanman here.
And I'm XO. Hello.
Alrighty. Sweet. So you guys both enjoyed the film?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
It's a great IMAX experience.
Oh, I bet. I was watching the whole thing going, I was jealous of you in IMAX theater because I don't within like an hour of me. So, Zan, did you see this on IMAX or regular?
Just regular. I saw it.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Still looked really good regardless.
Yeah, the picture was great. It was beautiful.
Yeah, IMAX is. I've only seen, like I told you, like 4 movies on IMAX, and it's just a different experience. It's like going to a theme park while watching a movie.
It is. The way it rumbles is just crazy.
As long as you have a theater with really good sound, you're good to go. But let's get into it. So the movie opens up with Mickey laying in the snow, basically, and Glenn from The Walking Dead, Stephen Yoon. I forget his name from the movie, but I'll just call him Glenn from here on out, probably.
Invincible.
Yes, he's basically like, Mickey, I'm just gonna let you die because you're an expendable. No one really cares. Plus, my rope doesn't really go down that far. And Mickey's like, okay.
It was a pretty funny way to start the movie. It really set the tone for what to expect,
and definitely for Glenn's character too, going forward. As we'll get into later. But yeah. And of course, then Mickey gets into an exposition dump-ish. Like he kind of explains with the narration about how the Mickeys are created and how he ended up there, which is interesting because he just wanted to get off Earth because he owed debts to somebody, correct? And they were just not going to stop coming for him. So he decided to sign up for this really tough program to get into, to go to a different planet. And he signed up as an expendable without actually reading any of the contract details and what that means. So yeah, would you sign up to be an expendable?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I'd do it.
I don't want a clone. I'd be upset if I died, and I would mourn myself as my clone, and it's not fun. I don't want to be Mark 17. That's ridiculous.
Mark 17.
Mark 27. Mark 30. I thought it was really
100.
Really funny. Was it like Mickey 10 or 11 that he was out in space? And he didn't realize, or that might have actually been his first mission. He didn't realize that he was just gonna die, and the thing like knocks his hand off, and the guys are all like, "Oh, that was awesome!"
No, the first mission, or whatever, how many Mickeys died because they were breathing in the atmosphere, trying to find a formula. So, like, Mickey 10,
that's right.
10 or 11 got their hand completely knocked out because of the radiation of the sun or something.
Yep, and they just kept sending him out there to when they found that planet, they just kept sending him out there to basically die until they could figure out a vaccine so they could breathe on the planet. That was pretty funny. Bong Joon Ho, however you pronounce his name, director of Parasite.
Bong Joon Ho, yeah.
Yes, he always has he always puts like kind of like we obviously just went through the pandemic, so like I feel like that was kind of like a thing about that, and of course we'll get into later with the a lot of people were comparing this like the presidential debate or the presidency in general of what's going on with Donald Trump or whatever.
Mark Ruffalo did great doing that.
I love Mark
impression.
Ruffalo. Yes, he was chewing up the scenery every time.
Yeah, he was.
Well, Mark Ruffalo said recently he was on I think Jimmy Fallon. I saw this today, and he was on there, and then he was like, "Well, we filmed it 3 years ago, so I thought like when filming it, it was completely ridiculous, and then now when it's released, I feel like we didn't play it up enough."
Yeah, yeah, that's right. They did film this 3 years ago because it had a release date of, wasn't it early last year, and then it got moved to later last year, and then finally to.
I know for sure later last year and then early this year.
Oh, it was. I think it got moved to from like March last year to like January or something like that.
To March.
And then to March, yes. I
didn't even know that.
Yeah, I got moved a bunch of times because they released the first like teaser for it with the scene of him coming out after he's being reprocessed and basically cloned. They showed that scene like I feel like a year and a half ago. I saw that. It's been a long time since I've seen that, and I like how he every time he comes back, every time they reprint him, he comes back like one of those old school printers I grew up with, where it would do a line of info, then it would back it up into the printer, then do another line of info. Like he just kept going in and out. I thought that was funny, and of course that one time where he comes back and they didn't set the table up, and he just falls to the ground. Dude's just playing on his phone. I'm like, that would definitely happen. That would definitely happen.
Yeah, the comedy worked for me really well.
Oh, it definitely did. Now, of course, he gets to this planet, and the first person he meets is Nasha. I don't know the actress that plays her, but she was fantastic. I really enjoyed her throughout the film.
She was good.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of complaints. The few complaints I've seen are about the love story not being interesting, but I thought it made for a lot of comedy, especially when, of course, it goes back to him on the ice planet after you get all the exposition dump and he meets Nasha and all that stuff, to him thinking that the creepers, as they're called, or the aliens, are going to kill him. He's hoping for a quick death. That never happens. They actually save him, and he gets back and he's just like, all right, I'm going to lay down, jumps in his bed, and up pops Mickey 18, who uses the Batman voice a few times. That Mickey 18 is kind of an asshole.
Yeah. There's like something wrong with copies once you make two of them, because like the original guy, it was very murdery, like.
Yes.
And it begged the question, like, was it the original or the copy that decided to do the crime?
Because that's one thing you find out in the exposition, is that you can't have two of the same person walking around, because then you could just provide an alibi if you want to kill someone.
Yeah, pretty messed up. So, and before I forget, Mickey 18 came to be, they messed up his cord. They ripped out his cord right before he got printed, and they put it back in.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that had to do with anything, but...
Yeah, and like each version of you is slightly different. But it just reminds me of that dragon meme you see going around, where it's like the idiot looking dragon is like Mickey 17, then the dragon breathing fire is Mickey 18. Lots of comedy. They of course have Mickey 18 try to kill Mickey 17. The comedy was great. Oh my god, it hit for me so much.
Yeah, I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah, me too. Because it was kind of dark comedy, which I love.
Yeah, it was a dark comedy throughout the film, and it just it worked.
Yes, it did. Absolutely did. So Mickey 18 tries to throw Mickey 17 into a lava pit, basically how they dispose of your body, or how they were disposing of his body after he died from before they created the vaccine every time he went out onto the planet. So
Pattinson did great twice.
Oh, yes. Pattinson acting against himself is fantastic. I loved it. I don't know who they brought in as like a body double, but you really couldn't tell. I mean, I'm guessing that's why this movie's... It had a $118 million budget, and a lot of that, I'm sure, was on the body doing them together on the same screen, and, of course, the creepers, who were all digital CGI. You can see in the background here. They're right there. But what was the drug they had? It was a narcotic, right?
Yeah.
Phila something.
Yeah. And so, of course, Glenn is selling that because he's honestly just a bad guy. And he's just left planet Earth to become a bad guy on a different planet where people would not chase him either. And then we have that awesome scene where they are being jailed. Actually, we'll pause that. We have the scene where Mickey 18 decides he's going to kill the governor, president. What is Mark Ruffalo? Leader?
He's not like... He's basically... Are you guys familiar with BioShock at all, by chance?
Vaguely.
Well, basically, it's like that, where basically just a rich guy was like, this is the great endeavor, this is the great journey that we're going to do together.
The new utopia.
And trust me to go do this thing. So he's not like president, he wasn't like the official. He's just a really rich guy that just wanted to be in charge and convince people to join him.
He just wanted to create a utopia, and he would be the quote-unquote de facto leader because he was the one that started it.
Okay. Yeah. That's that.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay.
Yeah. So Mickey 18 decides that instead of now he doesn't want to kill Mickey 17, he's going to take out the guy that decides that you can't have two clothes, so they can both kind of live, I guess. And Mickey 17, of course, was poisoned by that guy, thinking it was Mickey 18 the whole time. That scene at dinner was hilarious as hell too.
Not a
And
good laugh.
yeah, and another good laugh was Nasha thinking that she can just sleep with both Mickeys at the same time now.
Yeah,
'cause-
she was excited about
Yeah,
it. It's just like,
she
I got
was
2 of
pumped.
them now.
Yep.
But I
Yeah,
felt bad for
crazy.
Mickey 17 though in that
Yeah,
Yeah.
scene,
for real.
He didn't-
She
she's not seeing
cheated.
what's wrong.
Yeah, it would have been
Yeah.
funny because they would have done whatever, and then he would have basically been a victim of rape,
Yeah.
because he didn't want anything to do with the whole threesome situation until Homegirl walks in and she's got her hands down one Mickey's pants and making out with the other Mickey or whatever, and she's
Mhm.
like, "Oh God," and discovers, and so
He was,
that's when,
he was making out with the other girl before that,
yes, and he was making out with
Yeah.
that girl, yes,
or was about to. He was about to, right?
yes, and I mean, I don't know, I thought she was a little more attractive, to be honest.
I could get her.
They're both very attractive women, but yes.
I don't know
Um,
if I was Mickey 17, and then I found out like Nasha kind of messed it up because she didn't want to share.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, Mickey 18, bro, we can like swap whenever we want, you know? Just-
Yeah, it was a pretty good
Yeah.
deal. She wasn't having it.
Yep.
No.
And Mickey 17 could have gone with the other chick, and yeah, it would have worked out fine, but she had to throw a wrench into the works.
We had a good
with
thing, you and I.
Yep. So of course Mickey 18 goes to try to kill the governor, and that goes awry, and they end up in a cell where you find out Glenn has been chased down by the people that wanted him dead on Earth.
Mhm.
And Mickey 18 basically breaks them out of the cell. Mickey 18's kind of badass. I like Mickey 18 a lot. And Mickey
Mhm.
17's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think I like 17 better. He's just
Yeah.
more wholesome.
Well, he's just like
More fun.
the good guy. Like he's just like the nice guy, you know. He's a little off that Mickey 17, and Mickey 18 is off in a completely different
Yeah.
manner.
Yeah.
So the ending. Let's talk about that. First off, my teeth hurt while she was holding that rope that had the baby creeper on it,
Yeah. Yeah.
like the entire
sure.
time. Because I don't like the dentist, so that was like kind of tooth horror for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, the president or whatever he is, the dictator, decides to try to take out all the creepers who are surrounding their little space station, their little, I don't know, sand crawler, I guess you could call it, thing. Because they all wanted the baby back, who's already had his tail cut off. And then they're like, what was with all that sauce talk also? Was there like a hidden meaning to all that sauce talk that you guys
I
could
thought
think
she
of?
was just crazy.
Okay.
I
That's what
took
I got.
it as them like, because they're like have such short rations or whatever, like
Mhm.
she kind of just had meat, but I'm not sure like how much food they had on the ship because they were the higher up people.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I took it as like the constant craving of something new, like a new meat or something. So it's like, oh, this creature, I'll just make some meat sauce out of it.
Right.
It's really gross in the scene where she cuts
Yeah.
off the tail of the baby. I actually like was like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yep.
So
And then she cuts it in like little pieces.
yeah,
Also after that,
it's moving while she
It's-
does it.
and the little
like,
pieces are
Yeah.
moving.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's like, bruh, why are you?
Yeah,
Whatever.
she's a psycho woman,
Absolutely.
for sure, and played by the great Toni Collette, and we love her. So yeah. Anyways, so they're basically like, we're gonna kill both these Mickeys. They're both hooked up with bombs, but you have to go and get those creepers out of there.
Mhm.
And then
Well, it's like
Nick-
they get 100 tails.
yes, whoever comes back with 100 tails lives,
It's
and the other Mickey
crazy.
gets blown up.
Mhm.
Was the plan. And Mickey 18 is trying to get the tails at one point, or at least he's going around with a machete, while Mickey 17 is just not. He goes right up to the leader and he's like, remember me? Because he has the translator box.
Mhm. Which
So he's
worked
basically-
flawlessly.
It did work flawlessly. Like,
Yeah.
That's some
It
good
was a
technology.
great piece of tech. Yeah.
yeah. And it wasn't even perfected at that point.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
that was
believe,
her
right?
prototype.
That was the prototype. So yeah. So he's conversing, and they're basically like, we need the baby. And of course, previously in the movie, they had shown Mickey making sex drawings with Nasha. And he starts, what was it, C3 or C6 into the camera so that she
C3.
understands. Because that was
Yeah.
like the making of the baby.
Is it deliver the baby?
Deliver the baby, yeah. And he was doing like cradling the baby and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so of course she at this point still has the rope in her mouth and can't say anything. But then of course there's everyone there realizes what's going on, that this dude really isn't a good dude, and they kind of turn on him and help her out. Um, but yeah, the ending was really good. Mark Ruffalo has to go out there because what's his plan when he goes out there?
He just
It's
wanted to have statues and pictures of him talking to
Oh yes,
the
yes, because
alien.
he's basically vlogging this whole thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's just
every step of it.
he only goes out there for that one reason.
Yes, yes, he goes out there to show the people. His
Yeah.
one, yeah.
I tried to show them peace, or whatever he says.
Yes, yes. He was, yeah, like we said, he's fantastic, just chewing the scenery the entire time. Um, but yeah, he goes out there and Mickey 18's like, fuck this guy, and
hmm
boards his ship and is about to hit the button that kills him and the guy, and he's like, can't do it, can you? And then he's basically like, fuck off, and hits the 18 button instead of the 17 button, and
Mhm.
Mark Ruffalo goes, boom.
Yep.
Yes. And of course, then you get to Nasha releasing the baby back to the creepers. And at that point, there's about 15 minutes of kind of epilogue type stuff. Where Nasha is now the leader ish, right? Did she
Mhm.
become
Yeah.
the leader? Yeah.
Yeah, she was
Yeah, she
nominated.
did. She
Yeah,
tried
she
to
was
take-
nominated. That's right. They turned into a dictatorship. She was nominated. She became the leader of the people. Cloning was then disabled, or they stopped with that
Yeah,
experiment.
they blew it up.
Yeah, they blew up that whole thing. Tony Collette has the dream sequence, which I was watching that. I'm like, what's going on here? Then you find out it was a dream of her bringing back Mark Ruffalo as a clone.
Mhm.
Which I'm sure he probably had backups of his own brain and stuff, which they had, of course, gotten rid of for Mickey's character before the end of the movie. They got rid of they basically fried his brain and deleted the hard drive, so they could never bring him back.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a fun movie all the way through. It very unique and
It was.
stood out. I will remember this movie for a while, and
Definitely.
like I keep calling it a classic because it was its own thing, and
Mhm.
it's nice to see fresh ideas like this.
And
I
just
love
like all fresh
sci-fi.
ideas, it's bombing because
Yep.
no one wants to see it
Yeah,
for
that's
some
just
reason.
sad.
And that movie does have sauce for sure.
Would you guys try the sauce?
No, couldn't put that on a pizza. My
Oh.
favorite toppings. You couldn't
Even
do.
like whatever sauce they put on his like steak that was rare.
It looked awful, but
Yeah,
he was
Yeah.
so hungry.
I mean,
so.
plus it looked way better than the other food he was eating, which looked like basically a dog turd shaped like a brownie.
Yeah.
Of course, he was on like a weight regiment, so he wouldn't get too much different because too much bigger because he had to have they had to get a certain amount of calories and could only burn a certain amount of calories.
I want to know how her girlfriend stayed so. She seemed pretty muscular, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
really fed anything. Unless like super protein or whatever.
Right, that's probably all it was.
Mm-hmm.
Just nutritious stuff. So now we'll get down to ratings. We'll do it for the people. I will go first. I gave it a solid 4 out of 5 or an 8 out of 10, however you want to put that.
Yeah, I'm the same here. 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I got it at 9 out of 10 or 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. Yeah, I
Very
mean,
good
we all
movie.
really enjoyed it. I do plan to get the 4K because I'm sure it's going to look beautiful as most new movies do in 4K.
I got mine pre-ordered already.
you
The
did- yeah.
Steelbook.
Yeah, I saw you put the link in there, and I was like, I'm gonna wait a little bit, but I'll probably pre-order that soon. Probably won't be out for a few months, and the price will probably drop. The price will probably drop a little bit by the time it is, because on Amazon everything always starts out high and then it drops lower as.
It always says like it's like $45. By the time it gets like 30.
Yeah, it's like
and
28 to
Amazon's-
32. Yeah.
Amazon doesn't charge you till you get it, and so like I just got the Akira Steelbook today, which is nice.
Oh, nice. That's dope.
Nice.
I'd like to see that.
Speaking of 4Ks though, did you ever watch Nosferatu on 4K yet?
I did.
How's she look?
I thought it looked really good.
Okay, good. I figured. I mean, the issue with some 4Ks, it's usually the older movies because they have to transfer from other films or other film, and a lot of times it doesn't come out great. But I feel like with most new movies, they usually look pretty good.
Like new movies look fine. I don't think I've had a problem with old, like new movies, but old movies. It's because it's like a thing where there's an old movie. People complain it doesn't look like new in
Mhm.
4K, and because they kind of reserve or preserve the film grain and stuff to kind of keep its authentic feel.
Right.
That, and then the other problem is sometimes it look worse looking at True Lies.
Yeah, that's I've heard nothing
Um,
but bad things about that, which sucks because I
what
really want
what happened? I don't
it.
know. I mean, I know what happened. James Cameron didn't care. I don't know.
Yeah, and Terminator 2 is also the same. Well, at least he helped with Terminator 1, so that actually looks good. But T2 looks a little funky in areas as well.
Yeah, AI upscaling,
Yep.
whatever. I think like T1 and T2 actually like helped a lot.
Hmm.
I don't know why it looks the way it does for T2 if he was there the whole time. I don't
Right.
understand. Aliens looks pretty good for the most part too. There's some shots that looks pretty bad, but for the most part it looks pretty good.
Hmm.
But I know True Lies a lot of it had to do with like the way it was filmed, because it was a time when movies were being transferred to like, box TVs. So like he filmed it a certain way so the whole film would be able to fit on your TV like that.
Hmm.
And then now you have to transfer it to 4K where all our TVs are actually big and big enough
Yep.
to do that. So it's a whole mess with that. Really disappointing. Especially since there was no Blu-ray release. We went to DVD and then to
Yes.
4K. And there's
Yep. And they didn't they like try to like digitally like change their faces in scenes or something like that. I heard their faces look kind of messed up in certain scenes.
it's so bad. So it's
Zan's
like
nightmare.
AI upscaling, right? So Arnold looks weird in some shots because he looks way older than he actually was. Like it really adds wrinkles to his face
Hmm.
and stuff like that. There's also shots where you can look this all up on YouTube where it's just like there's a car chase scene and you can see like his mouth when he screams, his mouth is way bigger than it's supposed to be,
That's the one
and
I've seen
weird,
people complain about.
crazy
Yeah.
stuff like that. I
One
I don't
movie
know.
that looks great from the 90s on 4K is The Crow that just released last summer.
Yeah, that looked
That
really good.
that looks and they
Still haven't
kept
seen The Crow.
we're going to do a movie night one night. Cuz you need to see that movie is
I was
Didn't you
gonna
see
oh,
watch
the?
it, but I didn't see the new one.
Okay, you didn't see the
don't
new one.
definitely
No.
watch the first one first. The 4K looks
Well,
fantastic.
maybe you'll like the original more if you see the new one because you kind of
You
learn
think
where
I
they
should
messed
just
up.
watch the new one first?
No,
I would
but
no.
I
No.
mean, it was like, well, maybe you could if you wanted to do a
No,
new than old.
definitely.
But I mean, like, it is kind of eye opening because I watched the old one years ago,
Mhm.
like in 2015 or something. Because my dad was like, it was on Netflix. My dad's like, "Oh, The Crow's on here. You should watch The Crow." And then I watched it and was like, "This is really good." And then the new one comes out, and I watched the new one, and then I watched the old one, and I was like, "Holy crap, the old
Mhm.
one's so good still."
I
you
think
know?
I think the old one's like number 8 on my top 25 comic book movies. I love that movie with all my
Mhm.
heart.
I
Like
definitely need to watch it.
that came out like the right time for me. Like I think I was like fucking 13, 14 or whatever.
Come out in
So like
'94.
yep, 94. So yeah, I was okay, so I was 11. And when I finally saw it, I probably didn't see it that young. Uh I watched it like straight like I kept asking my parents to rent it and my dad finally just bought it for me cuz he was like I'm not just going to rent this for you every weekend. Like here, just own it.
Just own it. This is
So
yours.
so yeah. And then I made him take me to see the second Crow movie in theaters,
Oh,
and he
he's
never saw the
pissed.
first Crow movie.
Oh no.
And every time after that, I'm like, hey, you want to go see this movie or that movie? He's always like, nope, you picked City of Angels. I had to tell him Halloween H2O was about a water crisis in Iowa to get him to take me to the theaters because I wasn't old enough to buy my own ticket. Yeah, 5 minutes into the movie, he's like, what the hell are you bringing me to?
Halloween H2O. This isn't a water crisis.
Yeah, so from then on out, I basically only got to watch World War movies or like movies with submarines in it because he loves that shit. But yeah, you guys got anything else to add about Mickey 17?
I wanted to talk about my one criticism with the movie because I kind of forgot to mention
Okay,
it.
yes.
So it's when the creepers save him, it somehow doesn't hit him at all that they were trying to save him, which I was like kind of
Yeah,
okay with.
he judged them because they're ugly.
Yeah.
But then there's a point where it kind of seems like the movie wanted it to be a twist
Mm-hmm.
that they saved him, and I was like,
There
I
was
knew that right away. Like, oh,
yeah,
a twist.
Yeah, at the end,
Yeah.
the revelation into the third act when they're basically like, "Huh, maybe they were saving you," and that like never hit him the entire time, and they were just making fun of the fact that he was a clone, so his meat probably just tastes bad, so they didn't want to eat him.
That kind of funny, if like a funny way, like Mickey 17, 18 dynamic, where 18's like they were trying to save you, obviously, or something.
Yes.
Because to me, it was obvious the whole time, and I assume it will be for most people that saw
Mhm.
Yeah.
it, you know. But instead, it was like a back and forth for like a straight minute or two before it hits him.
Mhm.
Because it's Nasha, right?
Yep.
She's like, they're trying to save you. And he's like, oh, they were trying to save me. I'm like, yes, obviously.
The audience already knew that, yeah.
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 And it was pretty apparent that the audience would have known that by now. I mean, those things are kind of like, I don't know, they kind of look like a cross between the dune worm and a slug.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
We're
Oh,
cute
They're
enough.
yeah, they're kind of cute if
They
you
are,
like
especially the
accept
baby
them.
ones. Yes,
Hmm.
like
Mhm.
when the little baby one was like nubbing on his like finger, and he's like, "Please eat me quickly," and then just starts like eating his finger, and he's like, "Oh, this isn't gonna end well." But yeah, do you have any other criticisms, XL?
Nah, I loved it. Great sci-fi movie. I can't ask for more, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, I have very little issues with it. I was entertained throughout. I think it'll be a good rewatch when it comes out on digital and or 4K. I do plan to get that 4K because the sound in this movie was also excellent. And what worries me a lot is a lot of people were saying this could be like Robert Pattinson's like vehicle to an Oscar, but it's out in March. No one
Yeah,
cares.
it's in March. It's a sci-fi movie.
This isn't Oscar worthy performance to me at all, to be
No,
honest. I don't
I think
see
it was
it.
just I think it was like just something similar to like Civil War last year, which came out in April, where they were like, we gotta start talking about something that could come out and be so they started talking about like Plemons' performance and of course the directing in that. But that's because nothing up until that point outside of Dune had any Oscar credence at all, really.
Civil War needed a sound design nomination at least,
I
because
thought so too, because seeing that in theater was every time a shot went off, I jump out of my seat. Like it was like jump scares from the sound.
I was like, the guns actually sound like guns. It's crazy.
Yep. But it came out so
So-
early that nobody's gonna appreciate like nobody.
I wonder if the ending was better. It would have stuck around people's minds
Yeah.
longer, because that ending was
Yeah,
tough.
I
for
forgot
me.
about
Yeah.
that movie,
was like-
honestly.
It's like we're ending here. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I guess
this
I'll go
wasn't
home.
great.
Yeah. All right, boys. That was fun. We will catch you on another episode. Peace.
Cheers.